Hey, do you remember binders? Binders. I wanted to share this quick conversation I had with my new friend, Beth Dessermo, who's the senior HR manager for leadership development at the legendary GE Crotonville Center. And she and I have had a lot of years of experience in this business. And she said, do you remember when it was all about binders? And in my old companies, I sold millions of dollars worth of binders, facilitator guides, participant kits. It was a different age. And Beth was talking about how everything changed with the iPhone. That was the inflection point. That was the pivot point. Because to be a trainer, to be a head of leadership development in particular, it was really about curating content and distributing content. So you did that with binders. You did that with 5-day workshops. Who does those anymore? It became 3 days and then 1 day. It became so much about the content that all the budget, all the planning was around schedules and classes, and measurement was around butts in seats, activity metrics, completions. Well, things changed when we went to the smartphone. Now people can get content often free, very easily in the palm of their hand. Look at how the younger generation is learning everything. My kids in their early 20s, they're starting to adult. They're learning about finance on TikTok. I learned how to stop my dripping refrigerator on YouTube the other day. Anybody can get access to amazing content now in the palm of their hand. And talking to Beth, it was sort of fun thinking about the old way versus the new way. She said the phrase that she keeps in mind is she wants to be a guide on the side. Now, many of you might have heard about this, and it's a good reminder as you think about your plan for next year, your strategies for 2023. How can you and your colleagues not be so much curators of content, but take a coach approach? How can you be everybody's coach? If you've watched my rants before, that we talk about 3-to-1, where sure, the knowledge piece is the one. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient for behavior change. The 3 is like 3 things to practice it, apply it, integrate it. And so talking to Beth, it just brought it all together. In the old way, most of our focus had to be about knowledge and curation and the training. It was about the competencies, knowing them, being able to recite lists and models and steps. Beth and I were talking about every company right now, a high priority is leading change, thriving in change, helping your teams survive and thrive in change. And we've had the Cotter model, the 8-step model, I think it is, forever, and yet we're still struggling with change. And she shared GE has their own model, and they're still, teaching teams about change. There's all kinds of change models. It's no longer, you have an opportunity now going into next year to say, okay, the knowledge part is necessary, and that's the easiest part. But if we're going to do 1 hour of training about, say, the 8-step model or whatever it might be, what are 3 more hours that people can do to integrate it and change their mindset and to practice and to build habits? If you only have $40,000 to spend on a program, can you spend $10,000 on the content side, the knowledge piece, the training piece, but $30,000 on the habit building piece, the practice, etc.? So whether it's you personally or your colleagues or setting up digital coaching interventions, how can you be less of a curator and more of a guide on the side moving into 2023? Anyway, I just had a great energizing conversation with a new friend, Beth, and wanted to share it with you. Love to hear what you think. Do you remember the good old days when everyone had binders? What were your war stories? What were your success stories? And where is your view about guide on the side as we move into next year?